Okay, so the parallel circuit solutions were broken into 3 videos, and this is video 3, starting with number 58 on page 149, and it runs through page 152. So here's 149, then 150, then 151, and 152. All right. Okay, so 58, we have ourselves a parallel circuit. I can see that the 2 resistors are parallel to each other. I'm just realizing now that one of them is slightly higher than the other one. That's really bugging me right now. But they are parallel to each other, so let's note that it's a parallel circuit. And there are no numbers, but it's asking about meter placement. So it says ammeter and voltmeter to get total voltage and total current, or ammeter, voltmeter, current, voltage. You get what I'm saying. So first of all, we know that ammeters have to be wired in series and voltmeters have to be wired in parallel. And also that's regardless of the type of circuit. So even though this is a parallel circuit, ammeters measuring current have to be wired in series, always. Voltmeters measuring voltage have to be wired in parallel, always, regardless of how the resistors are connected. Anyway, so taking a look at the ammeter placement, I can see that 3 and 4 are parallel connections, so the ammeter is going to be 1 or 2, because 1 and 2 are series connections, but 3 and 4 are bracketing the the power supply and the resistor. So 3 and 4 are parallel connections, 1 and 2 are series connections. And then, yeah, voltmeters are in parallel, so the voltmeter would either be in position 3 or position 4. Now, the problem's talking about the totals, total current and total voltage. So, based on where the ammeter placements are, I can see that position 1 is in series with the power supply, but position 2 is in series with only the first resistor. Yeah, position 1 is in series with the battery, where position 2 is in series with only one resistor. Now, if I want total values, that's not going to give me the total current. That's only going to give me the current through that resistor. That's not going to give me the current through the other resistor. So that's not the total. So yeah, the ammeter has to be at position 1 to measure total current. And so let's see. Now, we have 2 answers that say that the ammeter is at 1, choice 1 or choice 4. So what about the voltmeter? Well, my voltmeter has to be in parallel, so the voltmeter has to be in position 3 or in position 4. And actually, since this is a parallel circuit and all of the voltages are the same, either one would give me the total voltage. So honestly, I mean, like, even though that's true, I can tell you that if you want total voltage, wire your voltmeter in parallel across the power supply. That will work no matter what kind of circuit you have. So yeah, if you want total current, you wire your ammeter in series with the battery. If you want total voltage, you wire your voltmeter in parallel across the battery. So again, we have ammeter at position 1. We already figured that out. So it's either choice 1 or choice 4. And then it says voltmeter at 4 or voltmeter at 2. Well, the voltmeter can't be at 2 because the voltmeter can't be in series. So yeah, voltmeter in series is going to spike the resistance in that branch and kill the current. That's like stepping on a hose. If a hose is like flowing with water, and then you like step on it or like kink the hose so that the water doesn't flow, yeah, that's a resistor in series. So that's a voltmeter in series. So that's not going to work. So long story short, if you want to measure total current, you're going to have your ammeter at 1 in series with the power supply. So you want your total current, you have your ammeter at position 1 in series with the battery, and you want your total voltage, you want your voltmeter at 4 in parallel across the battery. So that is choice 1. If I keep saying things and then pausing and then restarting, that's because I'm forgetting what I'm actually saying while I'm writing. Sorry about that. But yeah, so we have choice 1 for number 58. Alright, so here's 60, and I can see that there's a parallel connection of 3 resistors, and it wants the equivalent resistance. Please don't simply add it up. Please don't say the answer is 19. 19 is that's a series circuit where you just simply add them up. I'm going to have to use the 1 over the fraction reciprocal equation. So nothing complicated about 60. We're just trying to find the equivalent resistance from these three resistors, 3, 4, and 12. And add up the fractions, you get 0.667 or 2/3. And that 1 over our equivalent is 2/3, so our equivalent is 3/2, 1.5, choice 2. All right, 62 is another parallel question, and we have 3 lamps, and each of them is X ohms, and it wants REQ. Please don't say it's 3X, we're not just adding them up. That would be series. So let's figure it out. Let's use that resistance equation for parallel circuits. And so each of these, it's weird because like they're using X, and usually we like solve for X. We're not actually solving for X. The thing that we're solving for is our equivalent. But since they're all identical, I can add those fractions easily. Because you can add fractions when they have the same denominator, right? So 1 over x plus 1 over x plus 1 over x is 3 over x. So I'm trying to solve for our equivalent, so we flip it. I mean, you could say, oh, multiply REQ by both sides, and then you can, yeah, it's weird. I'm like staring at that x. It's as if we're solving for x. But, yeah, if 1 over REQ is equal to 3 over x, then REQ is x over 3. But that really kind of feels like because I said so. So let's actually walk through this stepwise procedure in solving for REQ. So I'm trying to get REQ by itself in the numerator, so I'm going to multiply REQ by both sides to get REQ in the numerator. So we have REQ times 1 over REQ is equal to 3 over x. Again, in algebra, I can multiply something by both sides that's allowed. And so this REQ cancels out. And so I wind up with 1 equals 3 over x REQ. And to be clear, we're solving for REQ. We're not solving for x. X is just some number. So I can multiply both sides by x because I'm trying to get REQ by itself. So multiply both sides by x. These guys cancel. And so I get 1x, or just x, is equal to 3 REQ. And again, trying to get REQ by itself. So I divide both sides by 3, and I get that the R equivalent is x over 3. Or x is some number. It's a whatever, it doesn't matter. And so REQ in the end is x over 3 ohms. And that would be choice 2. 65 is another R equivalent problem, but this time they give real numbers and they give the total voltage, which we don't need. But let's take a look at 65. And identify the circuit first. I know they're all parallel problems, but when you have a circuit problem, identify the circuit first. Parallel. Then write down the things that we know. We have 3 resistors, we know their values, and we have the total voltage, 9 volts. So we have total voltage, R1, R2, and R3, and we're looking for R equivalent. And you can't just simply add them up. You can't say that it is 45, 10, 15, and 20, because that would be a series circuit. We're dealing with a parallel circuit. So let's, just as we did for the previous 2, let's use the parallel equation for resistance. And so when you throw it together, you get 1 over R equivalent is 0.2166666, blah, blah, blah. So then R equivalent would be 1 over that. And so 65, we get 4.62 ohms, choice 3. Okay, so 67, oh look at that, we have another parallel circuit. Ooh, we have, let's write down the things that we know. We're not really going to need these numbers, but we'll write them down anyway. But then the question is asking about the potential difference, aka voltage, across each resistor. Well, this is a parallel circuit, so what we know about parallel is that the total voltage is equal to the potential drop across each thing in the circuit. Everything's equal, so the potential difference across the 6 ohm resistor is the same as the potential difference across the 3 ohm resistor. And look at that, they made it choice 1. I don't even have to read the rest of the choices. The end. to be clear, the current is not the same, and I know that the R2 with twice as much resistance would have half the current. So the current through the 6 ohm resistor is half as much as the current through the 3 ohm resistor. But it didn't ask about current, it asked about potential difference. They're the same. And if this were a series circuit, then knowing that resistance and voltage are directly proportional, the voltage across the 6 ohm would be twice as much as the voltage across the 3 ohm, but it's a parallel circuit. I think I made my point. Let's go to number 70. 70 to 71 are together. We have, again, a parallel circuit. It says that there's an ammeter to read the total current. 70 wants a diagram using circuit symbols. So it's parallel circuit. Let's draw it up. There we go. There's my parallel circuit. Again, do not do this. You don't want that to happen. No. All right, that's going to cause a short circuit. And don't forget that they did ask for an ammeter for total current, so I want that to be in series with the power supply. I'm going to stick my ammeter right there. That's kind of a big honking ammeter. Whatever. So it's right there, and it's still in series with the battery, even though it's around the corner from the power supply, it's still in series with it. If I put my ammeter here, that would just be for that resistor. If I put my ammeter here, that would just be for that resistor, but putting the ammeter there gets the total current. 71, calculate equivalent resistance of the circuit. This is getting old. We get that 1 over R equivalent is 0.116666, etc. So R equivalent is 1 over that. And we wind up with an R equivalent of 8.6 ohms. I rounded to 2 sig figs since my original numbers are 2 sig figs. And that's what we got for 71. And that's the bottom of that page. Let's start a new page. Up here, whoops, up here. And move on to number 72. 72 puts us halfway. And so 72, I'm going to consider this a parallel circuit because there's a junction, there's a place where wires meet. There are no junctions in series. Series is one loop. So I'm going to give this a parallel treatment. But this is a junction question, so this is very similar to number 53 with currents coming in and currents going out. And because, I did mention the junction question. Yeah, they call this a junction question because a junction is where wires meet or where roads meet or whatever. But that's a junction. And the total current into a junction has to be the total current coming out because of conservation of charge. Charge that you're flowing into an intersection has to be the charge flowing out of the intersection. So we'll see what's going in and what's going out. Okay, looking at the arrows, I have 7 amps and 5 amps coming into the junction. That's 12 amps altogether. Then I can see that I have 3 amps coming out of the junction. And then the ammeter is for that last branch. So I have 12 amps going in, and I have 3 amps coming out. The current in is the current out, so if the total going in is 12, and the total out is 3 plus what? Plus, I don't know yet, equals 12 amps. So I have current into the circuit is 12 amps, and I have current out of the circuit is also 12 amps. So 3 plus what is 12? 9 amps. So that ammeter is 9 amps. The ammeter doesn't say whether it's going in or out, but it is 9 amps. 9 amps out, but it's 9 amps. 73 and 74 together, we have ourselves a, oh, what a shock, parallel circuit. Okay, so 73, 74, we have a parallel circuit. Total voltage is 30 volts, total current is 2 amps, and R1 is 20 ohms. And 73 wants the equivalent resistance. I can't use that fraction equation. Darn, doesn't everybody love that thing? Can't use that because I don't know R2. But I do know the total voltage and the total current, so we'll use handy-dandy Ohm's law. I bet you 74 wants the value of R2. But anyway, so R equivalent is 15 ohms when you use Ohm's law to get it. Okay, well, you look at that, 74 wants to know what R2 is. Well, now that I know what R1 is and I know what R equivalent is, I can solve for R2 with that fraction equation for resistance in a parallel circuit. Now we just need to get R2 by itself, so we subtract 1 over 20 from both sides. And so R2 is 60 ohms. All right, 80 to 83, we have a parallel circuit, 3 bulbs, We know the total voltage and we know the power of each of the three bulbs. We have no currents, we have no resistances, but power's enough. So let's go. Calculate the resistance of the 40-watt lamp. So 80, what's the resistance of the 40-watt lamp? Well, I know the power, and I know no currents or resistances, but I do know voltage. I actually know the voltage of the 40-watt lamp. How? Because all the voltages are the same in parallel. So 80, that is 360 ohms for your resistance. Don't forget to square that voltage. So yeah, next one, 81. 81 says, if the 60-watt lamp burns out, what happens to the 100-watt lamp? Nothing. They are in parallel, so the branches are independent. Whatever happens to the 60-watt bulb has no effect on the 100-watt bulb. You could burn it out, you could remove it, you could swap it for something else, I don't care. No effect on the 100-watt bulb. Next. Just one thing. It does affect the whole circuit overall. So like what is actually like if you, let's see, if you burned out the 60-watt lamp, then the equivalent resistance would go up because you're removing a branch from a parallel circuit, and the equivalent resistance would go up and the total current from the power supply would go down. But in terms of affecting the other branches, the individual branches, no effect because they're independent. Oh, look at that. I could write these questions. So 82, 82 says, what would happen to the equivalent resistance of the circuit if the 60-watt lamp were to burn out? All right, well, now we're talking about the whole circuit. Well, let's think about what that would do. If the 60-watt lamp were to burn out, then no current would pass through that branch. So you burn the lamp out and no current will flow there. That's the opposite of a short circuit. Short circuit is when you, like if you put a wire over the bulb and so that it had like no resistance, then you would spike your current there. But in an open circuit, if something burns out, then there's a break in the circuit and no current flows at all. So that's like taking that branch out of the circuit. So that if you add branches in a parallel circuit, the equivalent resistance goes down, which is the opposite of a series circuit. And that's because there are more options for the current to flow through. But if you remove branches from a parallel circuit, the equivalent resistance goes up. And it's for the same logic. By adding branches, you're giving more options for the current to flow through and equivalent resistance goes down. But if you take branches away, that's like if you have a highway and you close a lane of the highway because of construction or something, and then there are fewer lanes, well, it's going to be harder for the cars to get through. There's more resistance. It's the same reasoning. So if you remove a branch in parallel, the R equivalent is going to go up. And then 83 says, take those lamps, put them back together in series, and how does that equivalent resistance in series compare to the equivalent resistance in parallel? The series connection is always going to be more resistance than the same elements in parallel. Connect them in parallel, that's more branches for the current to flow through, our equivalent is lower. Put them in series, they have to share one connection to the power supply. As you add things in series, the equivalent resistance goes up. So you connect the same bulbs in series, then as compared to connecting them in parallel, series is going to be more. I mean, could you build a circuit, a series circuit that has a lower resistance than an equivalent resistance in parallel? Yeah, but not out of the same bulbs. Right? If you're using the same number of bulbs with the same properties, then the parallel circuit will always have less resistance than the series. And that's it for the parallel circuit problems. That's the end of video 3 of 3. Like I said, there are more parallel problems than series problems because you could do more with a parallel circuit, in my opinion. All right, see you next solution video.